Welcome back everyone for a new gym workout, and today, well, I still forgot my, I have again forgot my microphone, but I've been thinking lately that actually that's not necessarily a bad thing because I've been having some issue with copyright with the YouTube, so because the music that they are passing in my gym you can hear it with the microphone, so I guess having those chill after workout voiceover might not be that bad. Anyway, so in this session, honestly, there was a lot of very interesting stuff you're going to see. I'm going to implement what I've talked to you about with power, also some work that you can do in order that are focused on removing weaknesses that both help for, I think, the lift, but also the golf side. So we are going to see all of that in detail. Also, I have received my belt, so we are going to use that in the squat right now. Anyway, so as usual, a little warm-up, and something that I've been thinking a lot more when I go down deep in my squat is to kind of try to arch my lower back as much as possible as I'm going deeper and deeper into the squat, to really avoid having this butt wink where the lower back starts rounding a little at the bottom, and really try to sinking deep with the try to create an arch back with the lower back and sinking as deep as possible while keeping that arc, or even increasing that arc. That way you keep the back really extending even at the deepest part of the squat, and then when you come back up, you rotate your pelvic backward to kind of get back. And so that's kind of the main thing that I'm focusing on at the moment. So honestly, I'm really happy about how the weight are moving. I feel somewhat great despite the session of yesterday where I've hit more than 100 drives, so that's great. And we move on quickly through the warm-up, and I just think about it. Yeah, because see, I don't know why, but currently I've been more and more worried about the fact that I won't be able to progress as fast as I want and so on. Anyway, I'm going to talk about that just after, but here's the big deal. I received my belt. Let's go. SBD belt, 13 millimeters of width, which is pretty thick. So in terms of rigidity, that's hard to do more than that. So that was pretty much the first time I tried it on, and since I received it actually today. So that was really that, because until now when I was putting my other belt, I was just feeling uncomfortable, with the belt on the squat. But what I have found online after researching a bit of things is that this is normal to feel uncomfortable with the belt, first of all because it's pretty thick, but also at the bottom of the squat you want to use that rigidity to your advantage to get off the hole much faster and much easier. And so what I really try to feel with those, even with a 180 and even here with a 190, we're really trying to sinking as deep as possible and trying to pressure my belt against my thigh, to really use that as a resistance to then come back up. And so that worked pretty well. Honestly, I was surprised of how easy the 190 felt, and also the belt, since it helps stabilize, because one of the things that I've been struggling with the 190 since the beginning of the middle cycle and last week, it was like 190 is pretty heavy when you unrack it, and so it was very unstable when you start moving back before moving down. And so here what I was really happy about is the fact that even 190 felt really easy to move back after having unracked it. And so I decided, what, it felt pretty okay, the 190. I think I'm going to pull off 200. So I went on and test it. See for yourself. And that was mainly the thing that I didn't know at that time. I didn't know if with the belt I was actually going low enough. So that was pretty exhausting a rep, to be honest. I pretty much gave everything that I got to get back up, but it was okay. Honestly, it was, even though it really was tiring, I was able to do it. And also, as I saw here in the video, with relatively decent depth for the weight. So since the goal, honestly, here's the deal, the goal for this mesocycle, this entire mesocycle, is 200. So this is the first week of the mesocycle, I already have it, so the next 2 weeks is just going to be about getting easier and easier with that, trying to hit as much depth as possible. So the next mesocycle we move on to 210, and that should be pretty easy. But yeah, 200 already, he starts having the leg shaking a little, and you see that I got one good rep, just the one before, because this one I tried, but yeah, when I went down, I felt that actually no, I wasn't able to come back up. And something before I move on to the actual bench, with the belt, actually on this evening I see that I have pretty nasty mark on my legs because of the belt. So that's something I need to be careful about. Maybe I have pressured a little too much my belt against my quads here. So anyway, that was kind of the funny story. So moving on to the bench. Actually, I wanted to say something, I don't remember. Anyway, moving on. So bench. Here's the deal. Last week, I barely passed 120. So, and it was really the most awful rep ever. Like, I finished with one arm, first the right arm up, then the left arm. Anyway, for me that doesn't really count as a PR, as a PB. What I want today is actually being able to pull off that 120 with a good rep. Okay, so that's what we are working out with. And so I went on to this 100, and that's here's the deal. It just feels difficult, even though I think I have 3 or 4 reps. It doesn't feel that easy compared to me thinking that I'm going to pull off 120 just after. So, but you know what? What is strange is then just 1 rep at 110 feel okay. I mean, that's maybe because I have a genetic that is more prone to lifting heavy. I have a lot of type 2 fibers and so on. So, and since I'm not endurant enough, of course, me when I'm go 3, 4, 5 reps, it feels awful since I really don't have the endurance. But 1 reps, generally, yeah, I can push it pretty hard. And so, I didn't want to make a big jump all right away, so I didn't want to do that 115 first, to make sure, okay, because it's kind of, I feel that it helped me activate a little more my nervous system before moving on to the 120, even though maybe it just like a little bit more warm up. I don't know, it's until now 10k each time that was okay, but here it's like I need this little intermediate way to just activate my nervous system a little bit more. And as you can see, I managed the 120. Let's go! And I was pretty happy about that. And so I was so happy about that actually I completely forgot that I needed 1 rep wasn't enough. I actually needed to finish working. But I tried, and that was close. That was close. I could have done it. Anyway. So I actually, at the moment, I only have 1 big rep for the bench, and yeah, 120 is not really comfortable yet. But anyway, as I told you with the squat, which the squat with the band is 200 for this mesocycle, on the deadlifts, the goal is actually 120 for this mesocycle. So I got it. Now this is just about getting more comfortable over the next 2 weeks with 120. So next mesocycle I can go for 130. So here you are going to see me do a lot of weird stuff, because here's the deal. As I've been getting stronger and stronger with deadlift and so on, my big muscle are getting stronger. But what I found is I start having some tension here and there, especially on the lower back and on the right side especially, because something that we need to understand is golf is a very imbalanced sport. It's only like one side, and so what happened is on the way through, in the backswing, in the downswing, I'm kind of pushing up the right hip forward, and I'm externally rotating my right femur. And so these movements that I'm doing here are actually the little muscles that allow the femur to rotate externally or internally. And those muscles, what happened is at the moment I think that my big muscle start overpowering those little muscles, which can cause imbalance and tension in just my body. So that's why I feel that those little muscles start becoming a weakness here. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time, and I think over the next few weeks I'm going to be doing that, because as I'm getting stronger and stronger with the big muscle, I also need to take care of the little one to make sure my body is well balanced in terms of strength and there is no weakness that emerge overall. But those movements that I've did just before are actually very important for the golf swing. Here, this is what I've told you in the weekly recap. I want to start working on the technique of weightlifting, like power clean and jerk, because in the future, once I've reached my goal of in terms of strength, then this is going to be about power, and power is about the weightlifting. There is a lot of different exercise, mainly weightlifting exercise. There is also a squat jump, and we will see those over the next few weeks and months. But here's the deal: those skills are highly technical, and so you cannot develop the maximum intensity required to actually progress and get more powerful and faster if the technique is not done first. So what I want to do, and that's why I'm doing this here, because I'm doing it with relatively lightweight. So the goal is not necessarily to fatigue myself, it's just to practice the technique and just trying to understand. Honestly, I'm completely beginner when it comes to those. So I have quite a lot of work to do that, but I will practice, get better at it, and we'll see overall. And the reason here you see I'm start doing the hypertrophy work of shoulder and chest, which was the goal of today, but I'm doing the weakness and the skill development before the hypertrophy, because kind of the strength workout which I'm doing at the beginning need to be fresh. You need to be fresh to really produce as much power as possible. Then the hypertrophy is really the part that is finishing me off. After that, I'm dead, because the goal of hypertrophy is actually to exhaust the muscles. So that's why I kind of find the spot within the strength and hypertrophy to be where I kind of worked on things that don't really going to fatigue me, like weakness removal or technical work. And then I'm finishing myself off with hypertrophy work. So as I said, that was shoulder with lateral raise. That was 15 kg dumbbells. Then I like this one because it allows you to kind of work the rear delts and pec at the same time. So you can do both and in a superset. So that's mainly what I'm looking at here at the moment. And then I went on to the other machine, which is about just pec mainly. So good session. Overall, I'm pretty happy. I managed to do the 200 on the squat. I managed to do the 120 on the bench. And so that's the goal for this mesocycle. Now it's about making them putting as much work as possible to get those lifts as easy as possible. So at the next mesocycle, I'm going to be able to hit easily my 210 on the squat with band and 130 on the bench. So yeah, the next 2 weeks of work, and then the third week is going to be deload, are going to be all about making those lifts easier. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.